All right, dearly beloved, welcome to the 38th edition of the Thriving in Business Without Social Media workshop. I'm Bradley Morris from Magic Media, and I've been making magic on the internet for 20 years. I can't even believe it. I crossed the 20-year finish line last week, or last year. My intentions for all of you here who have clearly you don't want to be on social media, and I'm here to show you your evacuation plan so you can get off social media and spend more time doing the parts of your business that you really enjoy and really love. And in the process, I'm going to share a little bit about my story of how and why I left social media and what happened, and then the 19 relationships based marketing strategies that I have had to figure out from deleting myself from the matrix. And so this is going to be fast and furious. Especially once we get to the 19 relationships based marketing strategies. So I encourage you to have a piece of paper or a document open. At the end of the workshop, we'll do some Q&A for those that want to stay around a little bit longer and ask their questions. And I'll have a bunch of links as I'm going through this. I might be sharing different websites and different things that we've done and examples, and I will have a whole list of links that'll go on the recording email, as well as at the end, I'll copy and paste them all into the chat for you so that you can find them all in one spot and do with them what you will. So, the whole purpose of this workshop is to help you. Why? Something just possessed my slides. Let's try that again. Uh, well, this has never happened before. There we go. I'm gonna stop the share. We're gonna try that again. That was strange. Um, okay, so the whole purpose of the workshop is to support you all to take back your time, your attention, your energy, your creativity, all the things that social media seems to steal from the majority of people that are using social media on the regular. So I'm here to help you break free from that. So I always like to start with a series of questions. So real quick in the chat, what is your reason for wanting to get off social media? So I can make sure in the strategy part of this, I can have your reasons for wanting to escape the matrix, the social media matrix in my mind. And while you're thinking and typing out your reasons, I would be curious to know how much do you enjoy being on social media? Scale of 1 to 10. Scale 1 being like you hate it, you really want out, but you're still doing it because you don't know another way, or you've been told you have to do it. And 10 being you absolutely love it and couldn't imagine life without it. What's your spectrum on that scale? All right, so Catherine never liked it, not on it. Privacy issues, you hate it. Bruce, focus and productivity. Yeah, exactly. Privacy issues, it is a trap. It does feel like a trap. You're right. Time wasting, privacy concerns, not on social media, don't want to be the big tech companies are too easily corrupted. True story. Social media is one dimensional. Beautiful. We got like ones out of tens, two out of tens, all the way. I have been doing this. There's been over 6,000 people join this workshop live over the last couple years, and very rarely do I meet people through this workshop that are more than a 4 out of 10. So now another question. We're gonna just get this out of the way so that if you are one of those people that are doing social media, here's my little honest return on investment formula that I made up. So, how much money do you make from social media, and how many hours are you on social media? So, first question, how many hours do you do social media if you're one of the people that are still on it? The average in this workshop that I've seen are people doing social media about 10 hours a week, um, which is a fair chunk of your life. That's 40 hours, 40 hours a month, and you're looking at 480 hours of your life flushed down the social media toilet per year. It's a lot of time when you think about it like that. So we have one here, 10 to 12 hours a week. So now, just to keep it simple, because math is definitely not my strong suit, but let's just pretend you're doing that 40 hours a month on social media. And the question around money, how much money can you really track from your time invested on social media? So clients, products sold, How many people are actually choosing to work with you and engage with you in your work and pay you money because of the things that you're putting up on social media. And so let's just pretend you're one of the few that's actually making some money as a direct correlation to the time you're investing on social media. Let's just pretend it's $1,000 per month. I would say 98% of the people who come to this workshop are actually making $0, zero trackable dollars from their time on social media, which, that's like a big waste of time. And the time on social media includes creating posts, scrolling the wall, the doom scroll, the commenting on other people's stuff, responding to people's stuff, doing messenger, whatever you're doing on social media counts. Every single minute counts. And so if you were making $1,000 a month, but you were putting in 40 hours a month, you're making what, like $25 an hour as your time investment. And so the question is are you making at least $100 an hour from your time on social media? Because if you're not getting paid a professional wage for the time and work that you're putting in there. And so that means you're probably wasting your time. And so, my goal of this workshop is that you no longer waste time doing ineffective things that actually make you feel drained. So, for me, I left social media for a lot of the reasons why you all just named. Obviously, it was draining me. And 8 years ago, I came to my breaking point because back then I was seeing some of the things that are now so obvious that rather than connect us, it divides us. Rather than being inspired, we have more anxiety in the world than ever before. Rather than building friendships, we get followers, which is a strange and twisted thing that social media did to us. Rather than creating more connection, we have more loneliness than ever before. Rather than feeling safe to share our thoughts, we censor them or they're censored for us. And rather than being free, we become addicted to our devices. And for me, I became an entrepreneur because I wanted to do something that was meaningful and I wanted freedom in my life. And social media felt like a trap. So I had a final straw moment 8 years ago. My son was born, and I was sitting up on a mountain watching the sunset. I was in this amazing new chapter with my business, with new business partners. We were launching a really epic program called the Great E-Course Adventure, which was a 9-month project. We created an online training that was like Indiana Jones meets Saturday Night Live in a business development course, helping folks build the best course they could possibly imagine. And it was an absolute blast. It was the first time I ever felt like my inner artist and my inner entrepreneur found a way to collaborate and make money together. And that was a really satisfying project. Plus, I had a newborn son. He was 3 months old. And I was sitting up on a mountain watching the sunset, thinking of all these things. And I had this moment where I caught myself thinking about the moment and how I would post my reflections on that moment on Facebook later that night. And it was in that moment I realized that my brain had been hacked, that my experience was no longer my experience. Mark Zuckerberg now owned my experience. And it felt like I had these creepy electronic octopus tentacles that were working their way into my reality and my beautiful life that I was creating for myself. And I'd wanted to leave social media for 3 years before that. I created a group on Facebook the year before called Evacuate Social Media because I was kind of at my end of it, but I just didn't see the way out. And that moment up on the mountain was the final straw for me where I was just like, the hell with this. This is not what I want for my life. So I literally went home, told my wife I was leaving, reached out to a bunch of my friends and told them I was leaving, made sure I got contacts, emails, phone numbers, etc., so I could stay in touch. And I deleted my account. And uh, leaving was a really, really bizarre experience. It was not what I expected. It wasn't like I had friends texting and calling out of my 5,000 followers. People weren't reaching out to my phone number and asking me if I was okay or why I'd left. It was literally silence. I felt like I had somehow, some way, deleted my identity from the world. It was the strangest feeling ever, and it went on for months, and it led to, we were 3 years new to the island that we live on, so we hadn't really built a solid community, and I felt like I voluntarily erased myself, and to I had to rediscover my relevancy without social media. All the pictures I was taking and videos I was doing were now just for me and my family and close friends. They weren't being publicized out to the world. And it was a very bizarre thing when for the 10 years before that, social media was my number one marketing strategy. And all of a sudden I cut myself off from it because my values and my integrity and what I wanted for my life just didn't align with it. And so, what I went on to do and what the last 8 years have been about for me is like, how do we create village in our life? And from what I've learned about village building in my island space with my family, my friends, with a men's group I accidentally started called Man Ventures, 6 months after this experience of deleting my account, we met for 6.5 years every Tuesday, and whatever guys showed up on Tuesdays would decide on the adventure the following week. And it turned into this incredible brotherhood for me that I didn't have before. And when a guy would have their family would have a baby, we would show up and chop their winter supply of firewood, and we would do meal trains for them. And my wife also started a mama community, which has grown on our island of 10, 12,000 people. She's created an online community space that has now become an in-person community space for over 1,200 mothers and grandmothers on our island to support one another and do meal trains and huge hamper runs at Christmas time. And it's become an incredible resource for moms and grandmas that need support and have questions about the bigger things that happen when you're a mom or you're a grandma. And both of us really strived, even though my entire income has been based online for 20 years. We strive to build village around us because that was what felt like was missing. And in the process, that has completely and totally shifted how I do business and how I engage with my audience and how I'm trying to show up through partnerships and collaborations is trying to bring that village mindedness to the work that I'm doing on the internet with a global community. So, what I've discovered in 8 years is that the world doesn't need more social media. We don't need better apps and more platforms and different rules for the social media platforms. What we need is more social connection. I think we can all agree after the last 4 or 5 years of everybody being socially divided and what happened with COVID of people being disconnected from their closest people. We need social connection. We're bred for it. We need it. And my question for all of you, because if that why isn't big enough, then we're not going to make the changes. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of different strategies with examples of how we're using them at Magic Media and my other companies. And if your why is not big enough, then you're not going to make any changes. So my question for you that is a good one to contemplate, but first things that come to mind, share in the chat. What would you do with the extra time you could have if you didn't do social media? And if you're not on social media right now, then think about where else you're leaking your energy, where else you're wasting time and it's not getting you the results you want. So replace social media with whatever that thing is and think about the hours that you might be letting go of there. So if you are on social media with that example of 40 hours a month, almost 500 hours a year, think about you probably complain or internally complain that you don't have enough time to do XYZ. What are the XYZs that you're not having enough time for? Perhaps because you're wasting that time doing things that aren't necessarily aligned with the life and the things that are actually going to make the biggest difference in your business and your life. So, what would some of those things be? What are your whys? Because what this is about is it's about reclaiming something that we've lost or we've given away. That time, that focus, that energy, those passions, those hobbies. So, Lynn, targeting your ideal clients. Right. Through conversations. Spending more time creating your village, Robert says. Beautiful. Yeah. That's it's a great investment of time and energy. I actually just had a podcast episode come out today, which is about relationships. And Stephen Worley, the guy that I interviewed, he talks about how, he's been working online doing business strategy stuff, and he approached 60 local businesses and filled up his whole client just focusing on solving problems in his local community where he is. Catherine, grow your business. Stall because all the experts suggest social media. Yes, they do. Try using a phone to make a few calls. Yeah, phone calls, the old-fashioned way. I mean, a lot of you, what I'm going to share later is like, this is just coming back to the roots of how business was done before social media, right? So for me, 8 years later, my work days were at least 12 hours a day because I probably wasted at least three of them per day on social media, doing three posts a day, memes, stories, videos, pictures, etc. I usually work 6 hours, 7 hours at the most. I played pro golf, so I golf 250 days a year. Um, and one of the things that blows people's minds is in 8 years, my business revenue's gone up every single year, year after year since leaving social media. And it's just like my life is more what I wanted it to be now than ever before, especially since leaving social. So, how do we do business without social media? How do we succeed? It's one word. Every New Year's Eve, I choose a word that I use to themify the year to grow into something. I use it like a mantra as a way to focus my energy and what I want to learn or improve in my life. And for 2 years in a row after leaving social, I had the same word both years, and it became kind of my guiding compass for everything I do with marketing. And the word is relationships. How do we get back into relationships with each other? How do we want the best for the other people in our lives, not just to sell them something, but truly want the best for them? And how do we work together to get all of our needs met? So, this is where the strategy comes into play. So 19 relationships based marketing strategies. The first one, it seems so obvious, but people seem to forget it in their search for more fans and followers. You have an email list, or hopefully you have an email list. If you don't have an email list, that's the number one thing you got to get set up today is your email list, and treat your email subscribers like they are gold. All the love that you pour out on social media to that great abyss, that endless scrolling wall, you put into your blog and your newsletter, and you share that newsletter with your people. I went from doing like a newsletter once a week, every 2 weeks, etc. My newsletter goes out 2 or 3 times a week. But you think about what the average person who's creating on social media is there's pressure to make a daily post to try to be relevant. And what I do, my strategy is I have my Magic Mind coaching community where I do 2 2-hour coaching sessions, and I do these sermons and workshops at the beginning, and I capture that and I turn that little clip into my YouTube videos, my podcast episodes, and then I grab the transcript, I run that through ChatGPT, and I turn that into an article version. So I'm sending out really high caliber workshops, exercises, point of view perspectives, etc. to my newsletter 2 to 3 times a week. And people love it. My open rates went from 20% to 35 to 40% as I increased the volume that I was sharing with my newsletter. And it's not like everything is sales. It's not. It's just trying to provide value, and then beneath the value, there's opportunities and ways that people can work with me. So if you're new to my newsletter, you'll expect to hear from me, and I try to make the subject lines as clear as possible so you know if it's relevant to you, and if it's not, you just delete it, and chances are that one of the next ones will be relevant to you. So if you're not doing your newsletter well, do your newsletter the best. Be the best at your newsletter. Find ways that you enjoy to create value for your audience through your newsletter, because that's where the people are. You know, you don't own your following on social media, you don't own the content on social media, but you own your newsletter at least. Next, signature workshop. Create and tour a signature workshop. What is a signature workshop, you ask? Well, this is a signature workshop. I accidentally started this Thriving in Business Without Social Media workshop because my buddy Tad Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies, if you haven't heard of him, he's a great online coach as well. He asked me after 6 years of being social media free to come teach a workshop to his audience. So I put together the first iteration of this workshop, and we had 1,100 people sign up for the 60-minute workshop. And I can say I never had 1,100 people ever sign up for a workshop that I did with literally just one email went out to his audience. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, this is the thing people really want to do. They want to escape social media. And I've got these processes and I've got all this experience. So I'm going to see how many times I can deliver this. And so, as I said at the beginning of this one, this is my 38th time delivering this same workshop. And all I do is try to improve it each and every single time I deliver it. So, what do you put in a signature workshop? And now, for any of you, if you're coaches, if you're teachers, if you are transformation facilitators, you need to have a signature workshop. Like, just you have to, because this is the easiest way I've ever discovered in 20 years of entrepreneurship as a teacher, as a coach, on how to fill up your programs, grow your email list, etc. So I'm going to tell you what to put in a signature workshop, and then how to take it on tour. So the first thing you're going to put in your signature workshop is you're going to tell your story. Not your whole story, just the story relevant to the topic you're teaching. So I told you my little part of my story about how I left social media and what I've done since. You would tell a short story that helps people to understand who you are and why you're teaching the topic. That's going to ground them into the philosophy. So my philosophy around relationships-based marketing strategies is that if you want to grow your business and live a more fulfilled life, it's all about relationships. So that's what this workshop is going to be teaching and really honing in on. And then you want to facilitate some form of experience that really helps people to make a transformational shift and get some value from the workshop. That it's not just words, it's an experience that they're going to walk away and feel like they've taken some steps up a new mountain. And then if they want to continue, you call them to adventure. Here's a program that you can purchase with me, or here's a way to coach with me, or here's an audio library, etc. And so your story, philosophy, experience, and call to adventure, those are the things that you incorporate into a 60-minute signature workshop. It is free to join, and then you approach other people who have hubs. It could be in person and online, and you ask if they'd be willing to host your 60-minute workshop and put it out to their audience. You create a landing page, they send traffic to the landing page, just like the one that Abe sent you to for this workshop today, if you came through Abe. And then presto, you're now having new people from new audiences show up to your workshop interested in your point of view, and they can decide at the end if they want to continue up the mountain with you. So this is this is a little image that I made. I don't like sales funnels because it sounds like you're trying to flush people down your funnel, which doesn't feel too flattering, especially if you're on the receiving end of that. And so years ago, I flipped the funnel upside down and it looked like a mountain. And so I prefer the mountain analogy because building your business is kind of like climbing a mountain. You know, you're trying to get your clients to the top of the mountain to whatever that ultimate transformation is, and you're the guide that's supporting them to do that. So at the bottom of the mountain, you have traffic. This is how people are finding out about you. Signature Workshop, I treat as like the base camp of Magic Media and what I'm doing and how people find out about what I do at Magic Media and the services we offer, programs we have, etc. And your signature workshop can be like the exact same thing. I mean, you think about it. I've had 38 hours of teaching time with my signature workshop, this one right here. My email list has grown by more than 6,000 people. Think about the last time you spent 38 hours on social media. So for the average person, that's probably a month's worth of time on social media. And you didn't spend a dollar and you grew your email list by 6,000 people. It just doesn't happen, right? And then so you deliver as many signature workshops as you can on as many virtual or in-person stages as you can, and then you call people to adventure. So you might have one-to-one coaching services as option one. You might have a membership or a community. You might have a group program, an audio library. You might have in-person retreats. You might have all of the above if you've been in business for long enough. And the signature workshop is just a really simple, beautiful, streamlined way. So real quick, this is one of my couple very short 30-second commercial breaks for the session. So if you want help creating a signature workshop, right here is the training that Tad Hargrave and I did. You can binge this training. It's going to support you to figure out your niche, design your signature workshop, craft the offering, the landing pages. We create templates and everything for you, make it so plug and play. You design the experience. We show you how to be super creative so that your work is a work of art. Show you how to market it. You actually deliver it during the training, and then we show you how to tour it. If you're going to tour a workshop, it's not just reaching out to people. You want to create a media page with pre-written emails. Everything is easy to get, social media, swipe copy, etc. Like when Abe said he wanted to promote my signature workshop because he thought his audience was going to be interested in this, I sent him to my media page. Everything was there. We didn't have to have any other communications. So this training we're doing it live this September, but you can get last year's version. I'm very active in the community space for feedback after every session. I'll send you the page here. And let's see. I do have Instagram open there to show you something later on if you're wondering why it's in my tabs. Okay, so there's that workshop. I'll share it again in the chat. And now back to our regular programming. So next up, licensing. This is not something I've heard any other marketing people talk about in the online marketing space. This has been life-changing for me. So between 2009 and 2012, I taught 500 meditation workshops. I did spiritual adventure retreats around the world, Peru, Hawaii, Mexico, up in Canada, down in the US. And at the end of that 3-year stint of doing 500 workshops, I got burnt out from teaching too much. I didn't want to teach meditation anymore. And so I made a commitment to invest a few years into producing a world-class audio meditation library. So over the next year and a half, my buddy Blair and we produced this incredible library with 48 plus tracks, and he custom composed all the music. And then I approached some different apps, and I ended up getting on Mind Valley and quickly became one of their top meditation guides on their Omvana app and now their Mind Valley app. And I generated a lot of passive income. And fast forward 8 years, I've licensed that same meditation library to 9 different apps. It's generated somewhere in the ballpark of $400,000 plus in just pure passive income. The cool thing about licensing is when you're licensing your library to somebody, whether you've got an audio library or a course that could be used by a governing body or certification program, etc., they grow the audience for you and they pay you. So you could literally license the same stuff non-exclusively, which is what I'm doing with my meditation trainings, and I've reached millions of meditators without growing a list, and I haven't taught a meditation workshop in at least 7 years. So that is a really awesome way to leverage what you've built. If you have a whole bunch of assets sitting there, then consider who might you or what apps, what companies, institutions, etc., could you potentially license that library to? So, I've got Breathe, Mequilibrium. These guys here hired me to create 10 custom tracks back in the day, and that paid 35,000 up front, and I collect a check every October for the last 7 years for about $12,000 just in royalty fees. So all these different ones, we've got a spreadsheet with about 94. So every year I just spend a few hours sending out emails, and usually I'll get one new app every year. And it's amazing. I get money coming in every month, quarter, annual, just depending on how they all work. So if you teach guided audios, meditations, etc., I actually have a business training coming up starting in May. And that business training is called the Business of Meditation. And it's a 4-month training. One of the months there is learning how to uh, basically learning how to produce your world-class audio library. So we teach you how to do the audio, and then I give you my spreadsheet of all our different meditation apps that we found and a template for reaching out to them. And there's a very good chance you'll start getting some licensing deals and growing your revenue there. So I'll put that link in the chat for anybody that is looking to explore in that field. And just so y'all know, we're going to save the questions for the very end because I just have so much to cover here and I want to make sure you're getting the most of it. As far as licensing goes, so I have a kids story company called MAJIK Kids, and we're trying to do the best audio entertainment app in the world. And we produce amazing audio stories. The stories are like movies for the ears, we just finished a 90-minute audio story that's 26 voice actors playing the characters. fully scored music and sound effects. So movies for the ears is the idea of what we're trying to do here with Magic Kids. We also have licensed over almost 800 songs from musicians all over the world in every genre possible. And we have artists contribute to the artwork of every single story. So, like, these are all of our story arts. We've done 18 books for Magic Kids as well. And we are the first fair pay publishing company. So, we pay half the revenue we generate goes into an artist pool, and we pay out our artists, our voice actors, musicians, producers, authors, illustrators. We have meditations, so the meditation guides, and the money is split up with all of our artists based on their share of the pool and engagement with their content. So we're licensing people's stories. We're licensing this massive music library. We're licensing meditations. And then I have 4 full-time producers that are putting all the audio stories together that we are producing in-house right here in Studio Magic, where I work out of. And so that's another way that we are licensing the talent of over 200 artists now in the 3 years that we've been in business. And it's amazing what we've been able to create because of the model we created that encourages collaboration with all of these talented people. So, licensing is something most people don't think of. It's one that's absolutely changed my life. Uh, the business meditation, I'm going to give you a link later with a coupon code for a bunch of the things that I'm mentioning during this if you want to check them all out. So you got to stay till the end for that. Next up is guest appearances. Everybody says go on a podcast tour, and I will say podcast tours are fun, but they don't build you an email list very quickly. For example, last year I did a podcast with on the $100 MBA. The first week we had 120,000 downloads, and I was like, holy shit, this is going to really bring in some numbers as far as my email list growth goes. And at the end of that week, we had 20 people join my email list as a result of that podcast. I was shocked. It was like 120,000 people listened. I know it was a good interview, and 20 people joined the email list. But 2 weeks after the interview went out, I taught this exact workshop to his audience, and I had over 500 people join my email list from doing the signature workshop. So now my strategy shifted. I'll reach out to podcast hosts and say, hey, I see you got this cool podcast. I've got this workshop. Would you be interested in hosting my workshop for your audience? And if they say yes, fantastic. Then I ask to upsell them on, hey, do you want to have me on your podcast before the workshop to promote the free workshop so your audience can get to know me? And oftentimes they might say yes to that. And if I don't hear from them about the pitch to the podcast, I might reach out to them and have them on my podcast so we can start to build a relationship. So there's different strategies we can do. But back in the meditation touring days, the way I grew my email list was I wrote weekly blogs and I submitted them at a spreadsheet of 50 to 100 different personal growth blogs. And every time I wrote a new article, I'd submit to all the blogs. And then I started getting published by all these blogs. They would send me traffic and I grew my email list that way. So guest appearances are great, but they're not the best way. And I would encourage the inverse approach of approaching podcast hosts to do your signature workshop and then upsell them on the podcast interview, or downsell them if they say, no, I don't want to host your workshop, and then say, hey, do you want to have a conversation on your podcast? That's how I do guest appearances. Next up, profit sharing. So I told you the story about the great e-course adventure training that I built. Back then, I could not afford to hire my 2 buddies to build that training and all the tech and the brand and all the things. It was a big project, 9 months of all 3 of us working full time. And so I enrolled them with a profit sharing model where we all worked on the thing and we all split in the profits that were generated from the thing. It's the same goes for my meditation library that I did. I couldn't hire my buddy Blair to work with me for a year and a half at the time. So I pitched him on a revenue share model and he said yes. Revenue sharing is a beautiful thing that I highly recommend. If you don't have the resources to find somebody to work for you, to do your media, etc., find a win-win way that you can enroll them to invest their energy and get some form of benefit down the road. whether it's a profit share or something like that. Um, it's a great way to go. Because you think about how many artists there are in the world that are super talented and they're working in a cafe or a shitty corporate job that they hate. And maybe you've got a vision and a plan and you've got a business plan that's all put together, but you need one of those creative artists who's got a bit extra time that maybe they'll invest a few months up front in exchange for a revenue share. And that is something that you could bring to the table so that you can find more people to collaborate with so you're not just a one person show. And that's been one of the ways that I've grown Magic Media over the years is finding creative collaborations where everybody wins. And maybe it's not a big payment out front, but the payout happens afterwards. And actually, with Magic Media, so like we have an agency side of what we do where we've built 20 plus mighty networks. We do media, audio production. We do audio stories, help other people build their meditation libraries, consulting, coaching, etc. And years ago, I realized I kept getting burnt out from doing client projects, and so we shifted the model where instead of just get paying, a client would pay us a big chunk of money to do a project, we would do a smaller retainer, but then there was a revenue share on the other side. So if you're a service provider that's bringing value to the world, you could shift the model where the entrepreneurial spirit in you gets rewarded instead of just a flat fee of $20,000. Maybe it's $10,000, but you collect 20 or 30% for the next 2 or 3 years, and you all grow the thing together, and eventually you pass the torch on fully. So that's a model that I've done. We've done quite a lot of partnerships on our partnership page, which I'll send you the link of. You can see a whole bunch of case studies of projects we've done that have been profitable, and we kept a rev share for anywhere from a year and a half to 3 years. So another fun collaborative model. Speaking of which, collaborations. So I told you the signature workshop training that I did with Tad, that was a collaboration. I taught 6 of the sessions. He co-taught 2 of them. He marketed to his audience. I marketed to mine. We both filled it up. We had 110 people go through that training last September to December. And it was an amazing collaboration. But when I used to do my spiritual adventure retreats around the world, I would always collaborate with one other person who could also market to their audience and support filling up the whole thing. So it's collaborations are great. If you have a favorite person that is in a complementary field as you, hop on a call and see if they want to collaborate on like a one-off workshop or a training or something like that. Because then you share the marketing, you share the responsibility, you share the teaching. It's more fun, and you get to share the money that comes in. And it might not be a 50-50 split. Tads and I wasn't a 50-50 split because I developed the training the year before. He wanted to come join the training because he thought it was the perfect thing for his audience, and we found the win-win that way. So think about what is a collaboration that you could do locally or online with somebody else that is in the similar field that you guys could have fun doing something together. Next, affiliate marketing. We've all heard of affiliate marketing. You create a product, you find people who are happily going to promote your product, and then they get a commission on any of the referrals that are sent your way through their unique link. Affiliate marketing is great. It works. It's wonderful. You just need to have your shit together and be really, really organized. For example, when somebody does our signature workshop training, promotes it, they have the option to be affiliates, and most don't actually be affiliates for our stuff because they're just happy to promote it and they know their audience is going to like it. But you need to have like a media page or something like that. So for anybody that wants to host my signature workshop here, the one that you're doing, I send them to this page. They can book the through my calendar booking link, or they can just promote my next public one if they don't want to host it privately. They have an affiliate link there, and then we have 3 pre-written emails, 5 pre-written social medias, banners, bio, etc. So they just click the button, that scrolls them down. They copy paste. They can change out the links with their unique affiliate. They can get the banners, bunch of write-ups, links, etc. And away they go. We literally, once somebody says yes, they want to host my workshop, there's almost never another communication that needs to happen because they have everything they need. So if you're going to do affiliate launches, you just need to be really organized so that other people who are super busy can easily promote you by copying and pasting some copy and maybe adjusting it a little bit. Affiliate marketing works beautifully. I've made a lot of money through affiliate marketing. from having others promote my stuff, and it definitely works if you're organized. Next up, sponsorships. So, as I said, Magic Kids, our story company, we're working on some really cool sponsorships right now. We have a story called The Great Fire coming out in March, which is going to be a 100-minute audio story with 26 voice actors and amazing cast of characters and music and stuff. So we're partnering with a promotional partner out of the UK called Earth Cubs, and they are in over 8,000 schools. They're impacting, close to 1 million kids, and they're going to be our main promotional partner. So there's a bunch of details we're working out right now. I can't say much more than that, but sponsorships are an amazing way, and the sponsorship could be money exchange, it could be promotional exchange, it could be swag being given to you and you promote it on your channel or to your audience. There's lots of ways to do sponsorships, and they do work. Next up, strategic partnerships. Again, Magic Kids example. We partnered with an organization called Soul Shop, and they're in probably 100 schools down in the Bay Area. And they approached us originally, Magic Media, about building them an app. And then it became clear that it would be really cool to actually have their content in the learning mode of our app. And so we did that. And now we get paid every time they do a program in a school down in the Bay Area. So that one partnership generated over $60,000 last year for us. We're going to be in thousands of stores starting in April with one of these partnerships for Magic Kids called Story Phones, and they have these storytelling headphones, and our stories are going to be in tons and tons of stores through this other product. We got a baby stroller company. We've licensed our library to a bunch of different platforms. We're in like 20,000 schools and libraries throughout the states. And we're working on a bunch of other partnerships right now. So strategic partnerships, it's like you have something, they have something, and when you put those somethings together, it creates something even better where everybody wins, and then you figure out how you share the money. Free coaching Fridays. If you find your coaching schedule is not full with clients, then offer this. I did this experiment for about a year and a half. I've had to scale it way back because now when people join my Magic Mind, they get a quarterly coaching session with me, one-to-one. So a lot of my free coaching goes towards those quarterly one-to-one sessions with my Magic Mind members. But I did this for a year and a half. I had 6 free coaching spots, 15 minutes. That was it. 15-minute laser focus coaching sessions every Friday, and they were filled up. And that's how I generated a lot of business for my Magic Mind and my other programs that I'm doing. It's a beautiful way to meet your audience. If you don't know who your audience is on your email list, you can just open up, hey, I've got 5 free coaching spots. If you want them, here they are. Book yours, first come, first serve. And if that goes well, then just keep opening that up and offering free coaching spots to your audience because it's a great way to get to know who's on your email list and help them have some breakthroughs. And if you help them have a breakthrough in 15 minutes, they're way more likely to want to hire you for an ongoing support. Family and friends, my guess is most entrepreneurs, black sheep, unless you grew up as a, if you grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. I was the first entrepreneur in my lineage on both sides, mom and dad's. So nobody knew what the hell I was doing when I dropped out of college to become an entrepreneur. I didn't know what the hell I was doing either, but I figured some stuff out along the way. But, you can reach out to your family and friends and be like, "Hey, I'm doing this thing. Here's what it is. Here's who it'd be for. If you know anybody that's like that, please send the link on and just send it as a text message or an email. Short, sweet, simple. Maybe a family member's like, "Oh, this is perfect for so and so. I'm going to pass it along." And then you can start to get some clients, especially in the beginning. You got to lean into your friends and family. So swallow your pride and just do it. Next, YouTube Shorts. I don't look at YouTube as social media. YouTube for me is entertainment and education. I love making shorts. It's super fun. We launched a sport last September called Play Chi Ball. You should check this out too. Play playchiball.com. And we do a daily. So my business partner is an amazing media maker, and he's been doing Instagram and YouTube for his slow. He has like a homesteading, slow steading is his channel, and he's been doing videos for the last couple years here and has built a pretty big following. So we're doing YouTube videos and Instagram posts every day. Yes, I just said the dirty word Instagram, and I will say, I upload all that stuff. I have an app on my phone because I have to do 3 videos a day for Play Chi Ball to grow the Chi Ball revolution, and he does 3 a week. But I don't have Instagram on my phone. Instead, I have an app, and I'd highly recommend if you still want to post on social. There's lots of apps that do this, but we found one that's free for 3 accounts. So it's called Buffer. And so I'll post my daily videos that go out to YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and I never need to log into those things. Our social media, what we're doing with Instagram and Cheeball, it's a long-term strategy because we're trying to create a movement with this sport. And so we post every single day. Um, and a part of it is going to be getting, as we roll out, we're doing a whole bunch of festivals this year to get other people spreading the videos. But we've been posting every day since September, and we get some good numbers. But as you can see, our followers are very small, 190 people. Most of those 190 are people who are local, people who have played with us in the park. And so, we're having fun making videos. YouTube is the same. 75 subscribers. We've been posting 144 videos. Some of our videos have a couple thousand views. Our shorts have, 400 or 500 is kind of an average for us. But if you were dependent on this being your marketing strategy, it's a terrible strategy. We sell most of our balls through playing at events and in the park at our league days and at our markets here on Salt Spring Island. I mean, it's going to be a big summer for us with all the things we have planned, but this is a long-term strategy, which is why we're committed to doing it. And our videos are really, really fun. So you can find us at Play Chi Ball if you want to learn more about the game that we're spreading. But it's a very inefficient use of our time. So I just wanted to show you this as like I'm posting every day on these platforms, and it's not doing anything other than really getting our local people or people that are playing with us excited because we'll do a video, have somebody in it, they're like, I want to see that video. I'm gonna go follow you so I can see the video when it goes up. Um, so yeah, social media, it doesn't really work that great. It's a long-term thing for us where we're going to get other people posting their videos and tagging at Play Chi Ball, which is a part of our summer plan this year. Okay, so next up in the strategies here, I hope you're taking notes, everybody, and learning some stuff. Comedy. I'm a huge fan of comedy. Comedy is a great way to land your point of view. We actually last year we rolled out 31 comedy ads for Magic Kids. We spent 9 months writing and producing. We hired one of the comedians in the team at the Harmon Brothers. They're one of the best comedy ads agencies in the world, and we got to work with their main comedian Ryan. And we produced those 31 ads. Where's the spot? Right here, 31 comedy videos. And we had, this is our most popular one here. I'll show you in just a second because it's short. And this one had 925,000 views, over 2 million views so far, mostly organic traffic. We put a little bit of money behind it. And probably 20 to 30% of our Magic Kids app subscribers have come through our comedy videos. So let me just see here. So yeah, here's this one.
Hello, class! Welcome to Play University! Today we're gonna unlock the power of play!
I'd rather unlock the power of a good nap.
First, we're gonna pretend we're in a castle surrounded by dragons! I see we need an easier game. We're now gonna play a game called This Is Not a Banana! Watch and learn. Love raise! Zing, zing, zing! Your turn, Mom!
This is a banana.
Dad?
It's a boomerang! That was kind of fun.
This is a challenging case. We're gonna have to bring out the big guns.
Magic Kids, audio stories, music, and imagination meditations.
And fun activities too!
All right, so that was my son Soren, and then a couple of our writers at Magic Kids. So that's a short ad. Got almost 1 million views on that one in the last year, less than a year. And it keeps growing. Every day we get more views on our channel as a result of those. So, if you enjoy comedy, consider what stories could you tell through comedy? And shorts are a great one. Under 60-second, people's attention spans are pretty low. I mean, you can even get ChatGPT to collaborate on your scripts, which we did not, but you easily could get ChatGPT to help you write some scripts and storyboards. So, comedy is a fun way to spread your message through all the channels that you're already on. Because if you can get somebody to smile, they'll probably stay with you a while. If you can get them to laugh till they cry, they may just pull out the wallet and buy. Next, workshop tours. When I was teaching meditation, every year I do one or two big workshop tours. I'd pick a city, I would do 5 intro workshops, which I'd now call a signature workshop, and then I do a day-long workshop at the end of the week. So people would pay 20 to 30 bucks to do my intro. I would target a bunch of different studios or wellness centers, and they would all promote it and fill up the spots for me. I'd make money on the tickets. I would sell my audio library for 40% off if people bought that night, so I'd make money on those. And then I would sell tickets to like a $300 day long workshop at the end of the week. I'd sell a bunch of tickets for those. And I would come home and my pockets would be full of cash and I'd be good for a while. And I would just say, if you like teaching, if you like traveling, pick a city. Call 20 studios that may have the right audience for what you want to teach and try and book a bunch of 2-hour intro workshops. They would promote it, usually is like a 70-30 split, at least back when I was touring. And then you do that intro and you do a full day workshop or 2-day workshop, whatever you want to do at the end of the week after you've gone and done the initial tours. It's a great way to do it. It's a fun way to see the world and connect with new cities. And you might just find this a great model for you. Press releases. All right, this is a cool one. So we just finished 2 beautiful new press releases for Play Chi-Ball and MAJIK Kids. Already, I've actually been getting text messages while we've been on this, but I sent out a couple press releases this morning because we're doing a mini festival up in Cumberland on Vancouver Island this weekend. And so we sent out like a handful. I haven't even got my whole list of 100 plus press releases, but I've had 2 radio interviews already. We did a small press release to one media source because we had a guy come play with us before Christmas, and we got into a newspaper in Victoria, BC, and we had 40 ball sales happen like a few days before Christmas just from this one little newspaper that put it out to their audience. They did an article on us. And so now, uh, tomorrow in the Magic Mind, I'm actually leading a workshop on helping people design their press releases because you want your press release to be captivating, right? You want it to be a bit of a work of art so they actually pay attention. So this is the one that we did for Play Chi Ball. It tells our story, our origin story, what our mission is. Uh, and then it goes into what's coming up and how we're spreading the game and what the Chi Ball revolution is all about and a bit about us, the founders and the culture. And we made it visual. We have another one. So today, after I'm done this workshop, I'm going to be sending out press releases for that and for MAJIK Kids. Here's the MAJIK Kids one to give you an idea. And these are going to be going out to, we've got over 100 media outlets on our spreadsheet that my assistant helped us to find around the Pacific Northwest. And so this one's similar sort of vibe. It's visual. It tells the story in an interesting and creative way for MAJIK Kids and who we are and what we're doing in the world. And because Play Chi Ball and MAJIK Kids are 2 of my businesses, it also talks about Play Chi Ball and how this is a game for parents and kids to play together. If you do press releases right, you're gonna get media picking you up. I've done, as I said, like 2 radio interviews. We had that newspaper. We just found out another newspaper found that other newspaper, and they created a new version of the article that the other newspaper did. We just got a message with one of the press releases we sent out this morning, and the mayor of Cumberland just emailed us this morning, and the mayor is coming to our festival this week because she saw one of the articles or heard the radio interview. So that just came in via text message while we've been doing this. Press releases are great. Everybody forgets about local in the grand scheme of the internet, and local is an amazing way to connect with your people, make real change on the ground exactly where you are. I highly recommend it as a guy who's been on the internet for 20 years. I'm going more and more local all the time because it just feels good. Here's really fast and furious because I know we're running out of time. Sell in retail stores, markets, and trade shows. Out of our 18 books we've released for Magic Kids, the majority of them happen at trade shows and our market. Local events, find local partners, generosity marketing. When we launched Magic Kids, we gave 500 books away. So we called up 10 companies that we really loved and respected that were doing cool work in the world and said, hey, how many parents you got on your team? We want to send a box of books. That was actually how we ended up getting the contract. We begged the Harmon brothers to do comedy with us after we sent them those books. And that generosity marketing experiment that we did of sending like 120 books to their team down in the States was how they fell in love with us and wanted to coach us to produce our comedy videos. So, how can social media work? You have to have a clear strategy. What the hell are you doing on there? What is your plan? Have a publishing schedule. So be consistent. If you're on the internet and you're building a business, congratulations, you have a media company. Media companies need publishing schedules. Be disciplined. Take back your brain. Hire a team if you must, so you don't have to be the one to log on or use those other apps that I showed you. Buffer is the one that we're using. And make your work a work of art so people pay attention because there's a lot happening on social media. If you don't stand out, you're wasting your time. So, if you love elements of social media, you want your own social media platform. I don't get any money mentioning this, but we love Mighty Networks. It's great. You can build an online community forum, you can live stream, you can sell courses. There's so much you can do on Mighty Networks. If you don't know about them, check them out. If you have questions, reach out to me because we've built a lot of them. And I encourage you today, give yourself a gift, reevaluate your marketing strategy. Decide if it works for you right now to be on social media or if you need to take a break. Spend a day or half a day making a new plan based on a couple of the strategies that resonated the most with you today. Go all in on them for a couple months. Leave social media if you must. And I would say the thing I always like to leave people with is take back your control, your power. Be protective of your conscience and your consciousness. Sorry, because these big tech companies, if you're on them, they don't give a shit about you. They call it the feed because they're the ones that are feeding you everything that you see. And just because we see it on the internet does not mean it's true in reality. So we have to be vigilant with our time, our attention, our focus. I'm going to be sending you a PDF. I'm going to post the link here in just a moment to the workshop to remind you the 19 strategies so you can hang it up on the wall like a checklist and review them all. We have 2 spots left. I'm hosting a Get Shit Done Magic Mind retreat in March the 13th to the 16th. For any of you want to come to Salt Spring Island and work for 4 full days, get unlimited coaching, I'll post the link to that. The signature workshop training, I'll post a link to that. My business and meditation training, I'll post a link to that. And I have an all-inclusive Magic Mind coaching community that I will also post a link to. It's all my trainings, all my templates. I'm live for 4 hours a week with my community doing hot seat coaching. I teach a 2.5 hour workshop every month. You get everything, including quarterly one-on-one sessions with me to keep you working and moving forward. And I'm going to share a $100 off coupon for any of the trainings I've mentioned today that you can check out. So just wait a moment and I'll get those. And let's just take 2 minutes right now before we get to Q&A. For those of you that want to stick around and you have some questions, take 2 minutes, choose 2 strategies that stuck out the most to you, and I encourage you to give them 2 months to all the time that you spend on social media. If it's 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week, replace it with focusing on these 2 strategies. Go all the way down the rabbit hole with them. Give them a chance because my guess is if you focus more on relationships and if you focus more on teaching, which is your best form of marketing, you will get way better results way faster than if you continue posting and hoping and playing the slot machine roulette on social media game. So I'm just going to give you a minute or so to write out your best ideas. If you want to share them in the chat, I'd be curious to know which strategies gave you the biggest light bulb moments today, because I know we worked through a whole bunch. And while you do that, I'm going to grab the links. I'll post these links in the chat for you. There you go. You can copy and paste all those links in the chat, and the coupon works on the 4 offerings that have a star beside them. If you decide to take me up on any of those and you want some extra support and to work together on your strategies and implementations. And if you're on my newsletter now, you'll get to know me in the coming weeks and months. I don't have an onboarding email series that you'll be receiving. You'll just be receiving what's coming out in the present real time. And hopefully, the workshop was helpful. Hopefully, you're feeling inspired, and hopefully, you've got a little bit of clarity around what you could do to leave social media if that's what you choose to do, or what you could do to replace all the time you're putting on social media. You could still post. You could get one of those apps and never need to log on again, and you could still have your posts happening over there. Call that post and ghost. You post, but you don't need to go check out if anybody's liked you today because you like yourself and not need everybody else to like you. All right. Let's for any of you that have questions, let me know if you have questions. Feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself and we can do some coaching. We'll go till quarter after here. And big shout out to Abe for inviting me to come talk today. All right, so let's see here. Marianne, do you consider LinkedIn to be social media? I think it's social media. I mean, I would consider it set up like a social media platform. You know, you're trying to get fans and followers and you're posting like social media. So, yeah, I mean, the question is do you enjoy it and is it working? And if you enjoy it and it works, then keep doing it. If you don't enjoy it and if it doesn't work, then stop doing it. uh, Terry, workshop tours and retail stores. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, we're selling chi balls in stores locally where we are. We've got books locally where we are. And then as you grow one store at a time, you can eventually get a distribution partner that can help you take it global, which is, what we're going to be looking to do with Play Chi Ball. Um, Anybody else got any questions there? Lynn, I think I saw you raise your hand before. Is that true? Or was I imagine that? No? Any other questions or any takeaways that you want to discuss? Anything that you're going to go away and apply to your work and your business? Emma, can I explain workshop tours again? Yeah. So for example, when I was teaching meditation, Edmonton, Alberta is one city that comes to mind. I made a lot of money in Edmonton, Alberta. I would 3 months in advance, I would call up a whole bunch of studios like yoga studios, meditation spaces, wellness centers, etc. And I'd be like, hey, I've got this intro workshop here. My brand at the time was Cowbunga Meditations. And I teach this particular unique style of meditation and breath work and sound healing. Would your studio be open to hosting? And they would say yes. And oftentimes it'd be like, it's $150 for the space or it's a 30-70 split. I always made sure that they hang up posters and that they promote it to their audience, which they all did. And then I would try and book 5 or 6 of those over the course of 5 days. And then I would do a day-long workshop at the end of that. So people would come to the intro, I would sell the day long, I would sell my audio library, and I would just do a mini tour in that city. And I would always try and choose cities that I had friends so I could get free place to stay. And I would just go spend a week in the city and come home, and I would make a whole bunch of money from doing these 90-minute to 2-hour workshops that people pay 20 to 30 bucks for. And then the $300 day-long workshop, and then my audio library was $100 for people to buy, but I gave them 40% off if they bought it that night. And I would usually have 50-60% of the room would stick around and buy my audio library as well. So that was the strategy. And so, if you've got a city that's not your city, and maybe it's like 50 miles away and you've got a friend there, you might want to consider like it could be 3 to 5 events over the course of, a week or something like that, and go spend a week there and do as much teaching as you can. And partner and collaborate with places that already have audiences that are used to going to workshops and events. Uh, was that site Mighty Networks? Yeah, Mighty Networks. That is correct. Um, check it out. You can build your community. It's awesome. It's a great platform. Uh, yeah. So signature workshop tour over podcast. Highly recommend that as the way to go. Um, awesome. Glad you enjoyed it, Marianne. The replay link will be up on my Magic Media YouTube channel pretty much right away within the next hour or two. Once I get it quickly edited, there's the YouTube channel right there, so you can check it out. I'm not on Rizuku. We have been using Mighty Networks for 5 or 6 years. I mean, they hired me in their earlier days to go down and consult with their team to help them develop the course side of their platform because we were doing some really innovative stuff back then, with gamification and award systems built in. So they wanted our feedback. So I went down and I was using Mighty Networks then, and then we've maintained that relationship over the years, and we've built a whole bunch of Mighty Networks. Abe showed me Rizuku. Looks like an awesome platform though. And I just recommend like use what use what works and feels good and what allows you to feel creative in the work that you're doing. Any other questions before we part ways? Sweet. Well, thank you everybody. It's been fun. I hope this was inspirational for you and that you've got some new strategies. Give them a shot. Spend 2 months working on one or two of them, and I am sure you're going to see some changes and some positive momentum in the right direction that you want to go, and less of your focus being sucked through your eye sockets on the social media platforms. Okay, everybody. Take care. Stay awesome. See you soon. Much gratitude.